Good afternoon. I'm Charlton Davis. I'm with the Life Care Solutions Division from Helping. I'm here with Matt Wright with Alliance West Mortgage. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing excellent, Charlton. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm excited though,
Good.
because we've been talking about this thing for quite some time now. How our two industries can work together in helping, seniors and homeowners in the United States deal with one of the most devastating things they'll ever face, financially, emotionally, physically. And so it's time that our two industries get together. I don't know if people realize this, Matt, but your industry, they're known as reverse mortgages. I like to call them home equity conversions.
Yes.
They've been around almost 60 years.
Been a long time.
Longer than you've been alive.
That's very true.
And the long-term care, life care, I like to call them life care, strategies have been around for about 50 years. Matt, I wrote my first strategy for a client back in 1985. And over the years, I've seen it make all the difference in the world for them. I had one lady who I wrote a policy. She says, you know what, when it comes to my finances, you are my financial guiding light. I remember this guy and his wife, I wrote a strategy. He says, Charlton, if it hadn't been us having some kind of written plan that leveraged the insurance company's money compared to ours, I don't know what we would have done.
Right.
But you know what I found? That's probably one of the most difficult things of all of it, is people being able to afford care, and on top of that, affording the premiums for these long-term care policies. And you're sitting over here with the strategies that can really help people. Why don't you, help us understand how people can use this kind of strategy?
Absolutely. Well, first, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but a high majority of the times that we have clients come to us with issues where they're facing long-term care expenses, it's already too late. And so these expenses for these folks are effectively required to be incurred. And so they're faced with a situation that they're either going to have to put their family member into a nursing home,
which they don't want to go into.
They don't want to do in every single case for the most part, or they're faced with the other option, which is in-home care, which is both of them incredibly expensive. And so for most families, this is an expense that is just simply not an option from a financial standpoint. And so when we sit down with these folks, they're coming to us looking for a way that they can get the funds that are needed to fund this care.
So can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So they can actually use the equity in their home to fund the care, though, right?
Yes.
But that's kind of expensive, isn't it, for them? It's $120,000 a year now.
Right. There is an option to use a home equity conversion mortgage or a reverse mortgage where the balance of this loan does not require repayment. It does accrue interest. However, you do not need to pay it on a monthly basis. And so for families that are facing this type of expense, this is usually the only option. And so they would look to take advantage of something like this. But again, a lot of these families are coming after the fact, where they're facing the large expenses where if they were able to have an insurance policy in place prior, that's 10 times less on an annual basis than what it would cost for the care, they could fund these policies using a home equity conversion mortgage. Alternatively, what they generally don't think about is that most likely the largest asset that they own, which is their home, is sitting there and the equity is doing nothing for them.
But companies like the National Council on Aging through the Robert Woods Johnson Foundation, all these different organizations way back in 2000 are saying, look, you need to link these together. And so that's what kind of got me back out of the kind of retirement to put this together, because, Matt, I'm telling you, this is going to help so many people. I mean, hundreds of thousands of families, because here's why. When people need long-term care, it is one of the most devastating things they'll ever face in their life.
Yeah.
I mean, family members are just devastated. In fact, I've been a caregiver. The lady who's the COO of our company, she's been a caregiver. My partner, that's kind of my linkage between insurance companies and health, he's a caregiver for his mom. It's just, and we've heard things like, two things really stood out. One young lady was taking care of her grandparents. As much as she loved them, she says, this is a burden. It's a beautiful burden, but it's a burden nonetheless. And then one guy who had to take care of his mother, that's what it boils down to sometimes. He said he would find himself on the floor crying next to the stove overnight, trying to figure out how to do this. This is why it's so important that we put these two things together to show people nobody ever has to deal with this ever again if you're a homeowner. Here's how we've done it. Here's how I figured it out. Here's how they figured it out, actually, HELP. And by the way, HELP stands for the Home Equity Life Care Plan. And it's a funding strategy that helps people with this matter. And it really boils down to this. You tell me if this makes sense from the perspective of someone who offers mortgages. I take 2% of my future equity, not current equity, but 2% of my future equity to make sure that I don't have to make sure that I can get care when I want, where I want, how I want, for as long as I want, without spending one dime out of my income. How does that sound?
Well, when you put it that way, it sounds like a deal that's too good to be true.
I know, but it is true.
But it is, yeah. When you brought this idea to me, it really did kind of touch home because my my grandparents were in a situation where they both needed to go into a facility. They were not able to care for themselves. They did not have long-term care insurance in place. They were paying an absurd amount of money on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a fire captain for 35 years, pensioned. So they weren't, Bill Gates by any means.
Or Warren Buffett, right?
And so this was a significant strain financially on them and on the family as well. And frankly, it depleted their retirement assets significantly.
To help people for once and for all, make sure they never, ever have to worry about this again. So I'm committed, Matt, to making this HELP strategy, life care plans, along with your company together. Let's kind of make a pact. Let's do it together. That'd be great. Hey guys, you know what? If you need help, just contact us. Reach out to us. We'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
You guys have a good one. I have found over my career that the vast majority of people that plan in advance for future care are women. Mm-hmm. And even when couples do it, it's the wife that says, look, we got to do this. Because it can be devastating. 9 times out of 10, the wife is the one who does the caring for the husband first.
That's true.
And it's a tremendous burden on them.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let people know, though, companies are known by the people that are part of it. Mm-hmm. I just love when you talk about our goal to help people, because it exudes. A lot of times when you're dealing with insurance companies and mortgage companies and real estate companies, there's not that caring aspect that I think we have here at HELP. Our major goal and concern is to make sure that people are okay. And I think you're a big part of that.
One of the visions that we have for HELP, which I'm very proud of, is the educational piece, as we talk about with regards to you and Matt and how you're educating the communities and people as to how to pair together long-term care policy purchases through the use of one's equity, home equity. And that has to be done on a level that people feel really comfortable with. I was trained as a special ed teacher.
Okay.
So because of my special ed training and my life as a teacher, I love teaching. This is a big part of my involvement in HELP, because I want the community to be educated as to how they can avoid a catastrophic event should they need care or should their husbands need care. I proudly tell people that I have a long-term care policy.
You do?
I love that. I'm taking that money out of my budget. This HELP policy is such a beautiful thing because those who can use the equity in their home to purchase a long-term care policy is amazing.
You know what HELP does? It opens up the door for many people in the community that would not otherwise be able to afford the premiums. You know, I always tell people, you've worked hard for your house. It's time that it paid you. Or you worked hard to pay for your house. It's time that it paid you back. You know, there's a lot of homeowners out there that can't afford these kinds of premiums. You know what ends up happening? They end up having to qualify for government assistance. And as great as government assistance is, it's not always so easy to qualify for it. You know, Christelle, I really appreciate you taking the time to let people know the kind of people that run this help organization and they're concerned for them. And so I just want to say you're a great asset to our company. I don't know what we would do without you. And I'm sure your education touch and your caring touch is going to help a lot of our people in our community know that this is one of the best things that could ever happen to you. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Can I shake your hand?
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Thank you so
Yes.
much.